Hello, YouTube. We're back today for the continuation of the Battle of the Titans tournament. Still in round one, and we are wrapping up these games. We have Sap going up against Wildpet today. Wildpet sent us his recorded video. We have two different videos that we'll have to load up here, so we might get the black screen of death. But yeah, we're just diving right in here. So we actually have Sap's point of view at the moment as Brown. He has Novaya, he has Syria, he has Libya for possibly the next turn. He also has Estonia, Belgium, West Greenland, and he has Serbia. I mean, there's not a shortage of spots here. Maybe not the best spots, but definitely a lot of options here. And then we have Wild Pet in blue. So Wild Pet has a nice Bulgaria. I think, did they both block each other? Yeah, they both blocked each other up here in Novaya. Oh, actually, and with Easter being so Easter was in this game. He was observing the game. We actually can just look at the map like a normal game. Like this is actually perfect. So we can see what Easter sees. As you could tell, Sap in brown and Wild Pet in blue, they both have that fog of war, so we can see their individual perspectives. But since Easter was listed as an observer here and he was casting it on Twitch, I believe that yeah, everything just looks like we're in the game ourselves and watching in real time, which is great to see. So we have 3 kills and 3 kills. We have a 9 for Sap and we have a 10 for Wild Pet, with both of them blocking in Novaya, which is absolutely hilarious. It does look like Wild Pet's going to get Scotland this turn, and like we were talking about, Sap is going to get Libya. Now, you guys may not know, but Sap, so he's not really active in the FFA community, so a lot of the players that follow our channel, they do watch FFAs, so they may not know Sap, but Sap is probably one of the best, if not the best, 1v1 players. So he's very active in team games and 1v1s, and he's definitely a top 4 player, and could definitely consider to be a top player, like the #1 player in terms of 1v1s. Wildpet, on the other hand, is a very great 1v1 player, but definitely is the underdog in this situation. So I'm actually myself rooting for Wildpet here. I would love to see an upset in round one of the tournament. I feel like it would be a great thing to see. And we did have Wildpet building here, or holding back at least, but Sap was able to capture it. Wildpet has 3 deaths, but he actually does snipe Serbia, and I don't think Sap should build here to defend, but we will see what he does. Sap actually having this top base of Macedonia, this is kind of clutch for him. He can actually, yeah, look, he's actually using that base. He's going to go down. He's going to get this. And he's now able to threaten all these spots for Wildpet on the map. So that top base actually paying off in this case. Wildpet sees this, and Wildpet's just going to full spend. So he takes the army that was left over up here. And we can actually click on Sap here to see gold at the bottom. So Sap has 8 gold in the bank, and he's not going to spend it here. It's a wise move not to spend it. I think that Wildpet would end up winning that because he wouldn't be able to spend the gold fast enough. And so Wildpet really going all in to push him out of Macedonia, and that's a great play from Wildpet. I really like that move, and now Wildpet secures his southern borders for the time being, at least. The brown tide is going to slowly grow in the Mid-East. You can see they both have 21-21. Wildpet with a little bit better, or actually less deaths, but less kills as well. So pretty equal on the KD. But Sap with his position, I like that he's going to go Mid-East, and he's also going to have the central part of Europe. And Wildpet is going to be pushing up here, but you can definitely stall Wildpet if you're Sap. If you're Sap, I think you just have to stall Wildpet long enough to capture the Mid-East here. And it looks like Wildpet actually choosing not to expand into Africa. I'm very uncertain why he isn't expanding into Africa. He's been very focused on the center in like the southeastern part of Europe. So he is going to push into Slovakia, but you can see Sap is doing a great job holding Slovakia, and he has reinforcements on the way. Like I said, Sap just needs to hold on to this just long enough. He has 2 gold here. Wildpet has 0. Income-wise, look at that, guys. Dead even. This is actually wonderful to see, and a really great matchup here because there's a lot happening. Wildpet still has Africa and Spain and France that he could expand into. And I think he actually is over-investing here. I think if you're Wildpet, you have so many places on the map to expand still. You can just harass Sap here, but I think if you expand, like, it's going to be a race, right? Like, Sap, he's going to need to use this in the Mid-East. He's got to get the Mid-East to threaten you, and he's still a few turns away from that, and that's plenty of time to wrap up this West. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe someone can comment down if they have a better thought here, but Wildpet's looking at this as a killing blow. So he is chopping these right trees. That's the one of the best ways into Slovakia. You chop these trees right here, and you can surround this base. And then these troops, what will happen is when they come down in here, they'll push too far sometimes, and your base will actually be hitting them, while you can just fight on this side. So that's kind of the strategy and what you'll see a lot in these 1v1s. And Wildpet's trying to execute it. Again, he's not really expanding anywhere else on the map. You're going to have Sap getting Crete here. Sap is slowly wrapping this up. His spawns are getting all put together over here in the Mid-East. So he's just holding this, and he's trying to hold it long enough. This is very unfortunate. Wildpet's Roar got put out of position here. He does pop the Roar knowing that the Roar is going to die. And yeah, now you can see what Wildpet's trying to do. He's just trying to get it so that his tower is firing even though he's the attacker. And Sap is actually taking this fight. I can't really tell if it's a good fight for Sap here. We're going to find out though. Sap still actually has 6 gold and Wildpet has 0. So Sap actually farming the KD right now. Oh my goodness, guys, the KD has swung in favor of Sap considerably. And okay, we missed this. Blind caster alert. We do have the Netherlands base sniping Germany, and that's a great play. Luckily, Sap sees it and he can hold this bottom base. That's a really good defensive position. If he lost this base, all of Germany would be lost. And yeah, Wildpet is really just trying to cut, but Sap is showing you guys how you can defend from the from the top while getting pushed from the bottom. It's a very hard defense, but he is doing a great job with unit control. And while he's doing that, he's defending in Germany. He finally landed in Greece. We are waiting for this to happen. And now you can slowly see the brown spawns expanding across Turkey. And once Turkey is captured, I think Wildpet's out of this game. And the reason for that is because Sap was able to hold Wildpet here, and Wildpet was not expanding anywhere else on the map. Now this is a really nice base. Does Wildpet have money? If Wildpet had some more money, he could actually completely envelop this side, and he would surround Slovakia. But look at that. His front line is completely demolished. His healers and roars are all vulnerable now. And I'm just baffled that this KD is as bad as it is for Wildpet. The Sap has done such a great job holding Slovakia and playing defense here, and at the same time expanding 49 to 41. And look, he's going to completely surround that city. He does have Germany back now. It would have been nice, I think, for him to snipe this, but I don't think he actually cares. This is more of a distraction and a wasted spent at this point for Wildpet. Wildpet finally does take this base, but it's too late now. So that's what Sap, like I said, Sap just needed to hold that. He did. He did it better than I could have even imagined. And yeah, now, like, even if Wildpet gets any more land here, anything else that he gets can get surrounded. Like, if he gets this base, Sap can surround him. If he gets this base, Sap can surround him. And it's super hard to push these areas, even when you're in that bottom position. And Wildpet has 2 gold, Sap has 1, so they both are spending all their gold very fast. Wildpet actually could snipe the bases down here, and he could try to shore up his Greece defenses, but this is the time that he's going to be most vulnerable. So Sap with a 10 income lead, also doing great on the KD. He's keeping his healers alive back here, using a lot of his spawns for the front of the fight. And now all of his spawns in the Mideast can finally get in on the action. Before they were kind of stuck over here. It was just left to expand, that nothing was connected, but now it can connect. He can open up that second front against Wildpet. And that's going to be the key to victory here. Now, this is interesting. I don't actually know how I feel about Sap spending here. I guess the fact that he spent in this port as well actually makes this fight good. If he only spent here, I think it would be a bad fight. Spending from that port was really great on his part. It does look like Sap was able to push back Slovakia just a bit, but Wildpet was also able to get that base in Poland. That does help him get a little bit of encirclement, but Sap, on the other hand, he doesn't have the gold for it, but he could push from this spot down. We actually had a Dispel here, but look at that. There's just like no units for Wildpet down here. He is getting a lot of farming up here, but yeah, look at the income difference, fighting on 2 sides. Very tough. And I should say, for the Battle of the Titans tournament, it is a best of 7 series in round 1. So Wildpet made it out of the group stages. So he played very well in the group stages, and he is moving on. Sap was a top 8 player who basically won the challenger round on his end. So just to give you background on both of these players. And also with it being a best of 7, they both do get 1 mulligan. and they have to call that mulligan within
Reinforce
20
front of
seconds. And that's
attack.
very noticeable here, or notable here, because it's interesting if Wildpet would decide to call it or not after seeing this block in Jordan. But yeah, he's not going to call it, which is very bizarre, actually. It might be a little too early in his mind to call a mulligan. He does have Bulgaria, he
The
has
town is under
Moldova, he has
siege.
Tunisia, but it's kind of rough because like that Scotland base is blocked. This is blocked, so he's actually just doing this on the hopes that he gets it, but at the same time, it does distract him.
A player's
Now,
fort
worse
is
players than
under
Sap,
attack.
like if this was me or like someone around my level or worse, like this might distract you enough where it could actually mess you up somewhere else on the map and then you miss micro something. But as you can see, I think he's actually going to get everything just in time. So he gets Sammy, he gets Siberia, he gets Novaya, and he got Montenegro, and
The
he
town is
captured the
under
12.
siege.
Getting a 12 in these games is absolutely huge. So he has an advantage. Plus, he already has the bounty gold, so he's already an extra 1 gold ahead of Wildpet. And Wildpet here is actually
A
having to
player's
use that
fort is under
port
attack.
base in Albania. And yeah, look, Sap actually can see it. He has the line of sight to see it from his point of view. And the second that he saw it, he actually spent a lot. And I actually do not like this move. I guess though, if you look at Sap's spots, I guess you can see his thinking, right?
The town
He
is
doesn't
under
actually
siege.
have the spots to do anything else, I don't think. Sap had a really good turn one, but look at all the countries that he got. He can't even really use those spawns.
A
Oh,
player's
that's
forces
actually
are under
tragic,
attack.
guys. Yeah, he can't even really use those spawns to help him in the fight at all. Now, I'm really shocked here. I think that Wildpet probably overspent. He didn't have enough to actually hold Bulgaria. The fact that he lost Bulgaria is really saving grace for Sap. Look at the income lead now, and yeah, Wildpet has to forfeit now.
A town is under
That's actually
siege.
tragic here. Going down 0-2 against Sap is not what you want to see. Um, Especially when you need four games to win. And Sap, you already know that you're an underdog against Sap. Sap has been around the community for a long time, and he's been playing 1v1s at the top of the 1v1 ladder for a long time. So definitely in a tough situation, and we really want to see a Wild Pet win here. Wild Pet forced to go National Park. Let's just check his spots
The
real quick
town
to
is
see
under
why.
forces
He's
are
actually
under
going
attack.
National Park from the right base, which is more time consuming and a little difficult. But and he's also doing Syria from the top left base. This just shows you this man does not have the spots for it. And if I'm right, I believe he already called a mulligan, right? Or maybe not. Maybe these players haven't even called a mulligan yet. I actually can't see the chat, unfortunately. But it looks like, yeah, see, he's actually going to be able to get Syria. He should be able to get Syria. He should be able to get National Park, and that's a really great save on his part. He has a lot of bases right here. He could be doing something with those on turn two. For Sap,
A
we actually
town is
have
under siege and
Moldova.
under attack.
We have Czech, and wait, wait, just Moldova and Czech. Wait, he had two deaths, guys. Oh my gosh, wait. So he could have done Tunisia. Oh, he tried Crete. Remember, we did actually try to watch him do Crete. So he failed Crete. And I don't actually know the other place that he failed. Maybe it was Tunisia, maybe not. But that is tragic. So Sap with a misplay, and this wild pet right now.
A
He's
player's
got to be
forces
smiling.
are
He's
under
got to be
attack.
so happy. He even had the bottom base Greece, so he only needed two bases to capture Greece, which is absolutely beautiful. And now he can get Bulgaria too. And I really like his position on the map. Now you can see Sap. He tried to do a one man here, but he's just gonna throw three guys at it. Why not? And Wild Pet just had to invest 1 gold and then use two spawns, and he's going to get East Greenland pretty efficiently. He does capture Bulgaria. He's going to capture Macedonia here. Sap is trying to threaten Syria, but Wildpet's on top of it. He had the spawns already down there. A nice little block for him. Sap did get Lebanon,
The
did get
town is
Crete,
under
did get
siege.
Tunisia that turn, but look at the income gap. It's +3 for Wildpet. And Wildpet has a
A
really
player's
nice spot
forces
now on
are
the
under
map to
attack.
expand. Uh, well, I'll actually see if he threatens Moldova. He looks like he's going to go for Romania this turn. I don't think Sap is going to challenge Syria yet. Sap is just going to expand in the rest of the Mid East. You can actually see him going for Africa. A very efficient play here. Only having to use two guys and two guys, or sorry, for Egypt is what I meant. Only
The
using two
town is
guys and
under
two guys
siege.
here, and then he'll be able to get this base with the leftover units. I'd be very, I'd be shocked if he uses these guys to assault. And
A
look at
player's
that, I'm gonna
forces
be
are
shocked
under
here.
attack.
Wildpet has 3 gold. He knew that there was an extra two spawns from the end of the turn, plus whatever was left over before their first fight. And yeah, this is just not gonna work, especially when he's fighting in tower range like that. The other really nice thing for Wildpet is he actually did Morocco this turn, and that really blocks Sap from doing anything in the west. So Sap only has the mid-east going for him right now, and he is down 7 income. And it's not looking good for him because he doesn't really have any place to expand. Yeah, he could have tried Africa, but unfortunately for him, he hasn't invested anything over here because he would have ran into Wildpet. Um, and if you're Wildpet, I think yeah, this is a great thing. Like you're watching this guy full pump into a choke, and you have the tower, you're just delaying him. You have the +7 income lead. Even though Sap has the spawn advantages here, ooh, this is actually really nice though. Sap did all that while taking this port. Wildpet still holding on to 4 gold, and actually, Wildpet got overrun. Wildpet might have overinvested into expansion here, and I think Sap did a great job recognizing that Wildpet was probably going to get greedy. Wildpet, I think, did get greedy, over-investing in Algeria and over-investing in the center of Europe here. And Sap takes advantage, and he getting that base and the drop here puts him right back into this game. I know the income difference is huge right now, right? But Sap has a nice KD. He is going to have the mid-east here, and he's threatening, right? He's making it uncomfortable for Wildpet. Now, Sap can hold Tunisia. It kind of protects him over here. Uh, this is just using spawns on Wildpet's part. And Wildpet is going to come. He is going to take this. Sap recognizes he's not going to be able to defend that. So Sap does go for the turkey play. We'll see if he can get turkey in time. It is getting started a little late here. He's going to have to really rush for these cities. It's going to take... I don't actually think he gets this in time, guys. It's going to be close here. If both of these groups can converge over here, maybe he gets it in time. Wildpet investing in a B ship, so Wildpet using that income advantage, and he's going to bully Sap now with the B ship. It does seem like Sap actually was able to get this in time, which is really good for him. He needs that extra income. He also is going to get Armenia, so he needs every little bit of income he can get. He's still down 10 gold. He's going to lose Tunisia here, it looks like. Wildpet's making sure of it too. Wildpet investing a lot to get Tunisia. These are definitely going to be transported at the end of this turn, I think. Let's see if he gets this base. That's pretty nice, but he needs a lot more to really enforce. Yeah, look, I mean, he's just where do these guys go, right? And the nice thing is this B ship can just come up here and it can start sniping. Guys, I think this is Wildpet's game to lose. This is his chance back into this series, down 0-2. He is putting on a show for us right now. He has taken full control over the middle. He made great use of the middle here. He's using some transport drops to be a distraction and cut. He's also using the B ship in the perfect place. Like I said, this is exactly what you wanted with that B ship. And the Tunisia reinforcements arrive now as well. And all those units that were in Tunisia are finally contributing. So he's hitting Libya, he's hitting Israel, he's easily holding this. The B ship helped significantly here. And that income lead is so huge. And Sap forfeits. Wildpet takes a game off of Sap, guys, and that is absolutely amazing. So, okay, this was also on Sap's host. So, while I say that, we'll reload the next recorded video that Wildpet has. But yeah, that guy was on Sap's host, so that's a huge deal. Wildpet was able to take a game off of Sap on his host. He's only down 1-2, and now maybe he can come in on his host with some momentum that's desperately needed here. All right, I need to get some water while we have this break and the game's loaded up. Just give me 1 second. You never really expect talking this much to really do something to your voice like this, but it does, let me tell you. I'm not in tip-top shape for this. My mouth is dry as heck. All right, another swig of water and we're ready to go. We're not actually ready to go quite yet. 1 second. You're still looking at the... Oh, I actually have 2 Warcraft 3s open. I didn't even know that was possible. Well, what do I do here? Okay, I think I can X that one out and then do this. Oh, okay. Now let's just pray that this works. I was a little worried about this. I'm not the best with the whole OBS thing, but I'm trying, guys. All right. And so player. So this, okay, perfect. So it's the same thing, I believe. Yeah, Wildpet's in blue, Sap is in brown. It is now on Wildpet's host. I believe both of them still have a mulligan. I don't think that we saw a single mulligan. Let's check Wildpet's spots. He's down 1-2 in the series. He has Svalbard, he has Siberia, He can get Bulgaria. You can do it from this right base. You just kind of trickle your guy here. He also has Serbia, which is really nice. And yeah, I mean, he's looking pretty great. Sap, on the other hand, he actually has Algeria. And for the turn after that, he can do Morocco. He has a beautiful Wales. You love to see Wales. It's such an easy spam swap. And actually, I wonder, he's trying to go Moscow as well. Is he going to get this in time? He's got to go fast here. I think he's going to be able to capture it in time. He did do Estonia as well. And yeah, he's gonna get this mate. Oh my gosh, wait. Okay. He literally gets it with a second to spare, guys. A second to spare. And you know what he did instantly? This is brilliance by Sap. He instantly had that spawn ready to go up here. So he saw again, it's Fog of War, so he saw from right here where it says Sap claimed Moscow, he saw Wildpet claimed Siberia, and now he's going with that spawn to get a snipe. Beautiful play. That's what the top players do. Just things that again, the APM and thought process to even do that is something I can't even do or can imagine doing myself. Um, but now Sap is also going to go Jordan. He gets Wales. He's going to wrap up Africa. He has Tunisia. Has Morocco. So he's all over the map right now. He stopped it right here. Let's see if he actually goes for it or not. Maybe he waits more towards the end of the turn when Wild Pet's less likely to have gold in his bank. And at the whole time that we were talking, or as we were talking about Sap that entire time, Wild Pet, he did have a 12 income start, which is great for him. Sap had an 11, so that was another as good of a start as he could get. And Wild Pet took the middle with that. So beautiful job on his end. He actually did not go for the snipe yet. He is just sending his spawns up there to hit. I thought he would try to go for a cheeky snipe, but it looks like he's not doing that quite yet. Wildpet is smiling though. Wildpet has the middle. You really love having the middle in this situation because you can expand so fast. But once you start getting to the top level 1v1 players, the 1v1 players will typically like having the west and the east versus having the middle. The middle is great for early expansion, but if you don't have control of either the west or the east, you get smushed. And I think we're gonna see that. You have to be a really good player to have the middle and to be able to defend the west and east. And this is actually pretty nice. I like that Wildpet's doing this. I think Wildpet's actually going to try to defend Turkey and make it so that his eastern front's defended. I think we saw in game 1 when Sap was able to capture the Mideast and threaten Wildpet from up here and from the east and opened up that second front. That's when Wildpet lost, right? So Wildpet actually grabbing Georgia, Azer, Armenia, and actually he's going to spend, and unfortunately for him, there are 2 bases that Sap owns. They're both at 35 income as well, and this is so tragic that Sap doesn't just have 1, but he has 2 bases in Turkey. I did not expect Wildpet to actually push for Turkey this aggressively. I thought it would have been a better play to just grab Armenia, Azer, Georgia. You'd have those extra 3 spawns, and you could just try to defend like a Turkey base. But I would not have thought that he'd go for Turkey. I don't know. I don't really like that play because Turkey's hard to defend. As it is, it can get dropped very easily from different points. And then if the player has the Mideast, they have spawn advantage on you. Very bizarre play on Wildpet. I wish that I could get like a post-game interview to figure it out. He actually sees the other base that Sap has. Oh, but you know what? Sap actually loses both of those bases. What Wildpet did was amazing. Wildpet actually ran his units down here. It lured Sap's units up here, and then Wildpet had reinforcements over here to snipe that base. That's actually genius on Wildpet's part. Now, while Wildpet is pulling off moves in Turkey, we have Sap pulling off moves over here in Central Europe. So Austria is now under siege. It is threatened. Look at this. He is pushing full into from the west. He has that Austria base. That left Austria base is a great defensive point. Really, really hard to push from either side, honestly. But better for him because the tower is closer to where the enemy units will be. And getting Germany is huge. And I think Sap is here. He's going to have quite the turn. He finally uses those spawns to cut 2 income. Maybe not as significant as it would have been early game, but he still does get the cut. And yeah, look, we actually have some mortars. We normally what I've seen Sap when playing with him. He likes to slowly snowball mortars, and he does a great job with it. But I actually haven't seen him do that too much against Wildpet. And it was a very effective. Oh, as I say that, he now pumps out 3 mortars in this situation. Okay, and this actually is the highest income that we've seen from both players, I believe. 65 versus 60. The fighting took a while to get started, but oh, this is what I was talking about. You just can't defend Turkey when the other player has the Mid East. The investment that Wildpet is going to have to put into Turkey at the same time while defending from a really tough spot. And again, what I was saying, when you have the center of the map in top 1v1s, with like top 1v1 players, the center of the map is usually actually not ideal. It's so great early game expansion if you can get big enough and snowball fast enough to bully the other player, just by sheer income. It's great, but if the other player is keeping up with you in income and they have the west and east, you're done for. And yeah, just like that, Wildpet loses that momentum and now he's reeling. He's on the back foot. Sap is winning the series right now, 3-1. They both should still have a mulligan, so we'll see if they actually use their mulligans at all. And yeah, Wildpet has to win this game to stay into it. So we really want to see a Wildpet victory here. I'm rooting for a series that goes to game 7. Wildpet is going to go Syria. Wildpet could also do Jordan, but maybe he's traumatized. He was blocked there once earlier in the series. He also has East Greenland. He also has Estonia, and I mean, Wildpet has spots, right? Wildpet has no shortage of turn 1 spots. We'll see what happens turn 2, okay? As for Sap, he did the 2 gold Austria because he had that base here. So he's just using that extra unit here. It made the taking Austria quicker, and now he can get Czech. Very great job on his part. He could also do National Park if he wanted to. It looks like he's actually doing Latvia. Now, this is actually really tough, guys. So you have to balance it right in between. Look at that. Like, this is a perfect example of what these players are able to do. Unfortunately for him, oh my gosh, I want to say he's not going to get it, but I doubted him once before. Oh, he needed 2 shots on it anyways. I don't think he would have got it even if he only needed 1 shot. So he does get Latvia, but it's an 11 for Wildpet. It's a 10 for Sap. Wildpet's going to go Jordan now. Sap is going to go Germany. He takes those extra spawns. He's going to be able to get Germany nice and easy. He's going to go Slovakia. Maybe he goes Poland this turn as well. That would be an ambitious turn. Wildpet's not going to let him. Wildpet's actually going to snipe this. Sap sees it, but he sees it just a little too late. Sap has enough gold to defend, though. Wildpet's just going to have to hold out here. Great snipe on his part. It does threaten Sap, but look, Sap doesn't overinvest, right? Sap only put 1 extra guy here. He didn't overinvest that extra gold. He had 4 gold, right? So he's using that other 4 gold on the map to expand. So he takes the national park. He continues to take Germany. He's going to get Slovakia. And that's another good tip is not to overreact. And we just saw that with Sap. Wildpet did get Portugal this turn, which is nice for him. They're both tied 21-21. Wildpet, so he has West Greenland, East Greenland up there. It's actually going to threaten national park. So that's 3 income that Sap is relying on right now, and that's going to be threatened. Sap is going to go Poland this turn because it's so easy to grab from the spots that he has. He can easily, efficiently get that. Wildpet just going to pump his spawns into Israel and Palestine here. Wildpet also going to go for Spain. I really like the Spain play. We actually kind of have a reverse situation here. We're going to kind of have Sap in the middle of the map, and we're going to have Wildpet on the west and east. Now, if you look, Sap only has like this port, right? And this port. So Sap really doesn't have like anything in the west or east. Like he only has like France. Like Africa is completely wide open, Mid East completely wide open now. So this will be interesting. We'll see if Wildpet can do what Sap's been doing to him and take advantage of the better map position. He is going to get Spain. He really needed that income this turn, so great for him. Spain and Disco Bay. Look at the jump in income. All 6 of that extra income coming from Spain right there. Sap is actually in a bad spot as well because he doesn't even have the best part of the middle. The best part of the middle is when you're in the south and you can push up. So it actually looks like that's what he's trying to do right now. He's going to go Macedonia. He's going to go Bulgaria. Maybe then he can more efficiently expand into these countries. We'll find out. It does look like they're having a little skirmish here. If I'm Wildpet, I don't worry about this at all. I think I full expand Africa, France this turn. If you want to use your spawns over here to slowly start Egypt and Libya, definitely do that as well. But yeah, Wildpet thinks differently here. I guess when you're Wildpet, you're looking at the income difference, right? And so you're trying to slow down your opponent. Now, I will say that Sap did a great play here. He actually took that Sardinia. So he had Sardinia. He took hit the spawns and some units and he landed on Sicily. And that threatens Wildpet in Italy now. That's a great play. And that Sardinia could actually become huge for Sap. Sap could use this to snipe and drop on France. He could use it to snipe Spain and cut some big chunks of income off of Wildpet because that's a lot of Wildpet's income is France and Spain right there. Wildpet is finally using these spawns to get Egypt and soon to be Libya here. And I think at this point, if you're Wildpet, I think I would give up Italy. I don't think it's worth defending Italy here. It might be worth taking, like you have the income lead, right? Oh man, I don't know though. This is tough. He has a lot of spawns and units up here as well that he could be using. It's just really hard when you have the islands. This is one of the worst part about the islands is all these extra units. You can't even use them in the fight unless you want to try to use transports. Luckily he gets Egypt this turn. He has Tunisia, so he could go Malta. He could use ships. He could make a ship and he could start sniping Sicily. That might actually be his best play at this time because he's holding on land. He has the position, he has the income. I think if I'm Wildpet and I know where Sap is, I go Malta and then I reverse push this. I stop this push down here. I use a ship. The ship can completely destroy everything right here, especially if Sap continues to invest. The ship can range everything. So you kill this, you stop that push, you just defend this area because it's almost impossible for Sap to push you in this area. And once you use your ship to shore up Sardinia, Sicily, and Italy, then you can use it to push over here. I think a ship is the best play here, but Wildpet is spending all his gold on rifles and he's not even pushing from Netherlands into Germany. Look what happens. Pushing from the Switzerland in, it's a great in theory, but like you have the trees and your guys just kind of get stuck in these little chokes. If you really want to push that, you have to cut these trees. And at the same time, he's just getting sniped by the 5G ship and these troops. So Sap with the better KD for sure. And Sap now is only 7 income down. Wildpet could be squandering this lead and the position on the map. And I'm just, especially last turn when he had such a huge income lead, I really would have liked to see him make a ship, slowly start taking naval superiority, get ahead in the arms race for the sea. And right now, he's just taking bad fights. I think Wildpet's overthinking this, guys. Wildpet should not be pushing into Germany like this. There's actually no reason to push Germany at all. Even if he gets Germany, it doesn't really get him that much. It cuts 6 income off of Sap, but he's still in a bad position. Pushing from Germany into these chokes is also just as hard. Unless you have the patience to cut trees, which we're not seeing Wildpet do. Wildpet, though, his saving grace, he does have all of the Mid-East now, minus Turkey. So, yeah, look, Sardinia coming into a really good value for Sap here. Look at the income drop for Wildpet, all because of that. Wildpet does get this base again. I'm actually really surprised that he's able to snipe this base. He has 45 gold and Sap has 43, so they're both very even on the gold. Sap, funny enough, hasn't even conquered Serbia yet, which is hilarious. Wildpet does a drop here, but it's spotted out. Wildpet has like 20 units. His spawns are misset in the Mideast, and that's tragic for him right now. And at the same time, oh, he finally pushes this. Okay, so Sap tried to go, or he not just tried, Sap is going all in on this. Sap really wants to break this. And Sap's gonna have to hold this. I think he can. Sap just spent all of his gold to hold that right there. He's breaking Wildpet here. And this is so sad because I feel like this was Wildpet's game to win. Wildpet has so many units that he's not using right now here. He has so many units he can't really use up there. He took really bad fights in Germany. I want to get in his mindset to figure out what happened in Germany. The fights here were not great at all. The not going a ship, like once you see the push from Italy, like not shutting that down with a ship instantly. Oh my goodness. I really want Wildpet to come back. It's not over by any means. But with them having similar income, like Wildpet is down like 60 kills in the KD category, and Sap's army is just huge. And that was it. Oh, that is so tragic. Good game to both players. Wildpet, I feel like he let that one slip right through his fingers, guys. That was so close to a victory there, and he just couldn't pull it off in the end. But he played so good against, again, one of the possibly the best 1v1 risk player. That's what this tournament's all about, is to figure out who the best is. Sap is going to be moving on to round two. Wildpet is out of the tournament. And we are continuing on with our round one series. I think we have a couple more games to wrap up. They'll be posted to this channel soon. So if you go ahead and subscribe, you will get notified as we continue to post one video of Risk per day, trying to satiate all your Risk needs. I hope you guys are liking this content. If so, go down below, let me know. Comment down below if you are liking the 1v1 series, and I will see you all on the next one.